Hello everyone. So in this video, we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app and you can attempt the quiz in this app and you can read detailed explanation. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. Now we have started a new channel, Civils Academy. You can subscribe to it if you find it relevant. The content is mainly for UPSC and for state PCS examinations. Now let's start. Which country has unveiled a draft Humans in Space Policy 2021? So this has been unveiled by our space organization ISRO. ISRO stands for Indian Space Research Organization. The headquarters of ISRO is in Bengaluru. It is under Department of Space. Present ISRO chief is Dr. K. Sivan. So ISRO has recently unveiled the draft Humans in Space Policy, and this policy seeks to facilitate startups and the local industries, that means indigenous industries, to build the technologies for the human space program of ISRO. Now recently, ISRO was also in news as it collaborated with Map My India. ISRO was also in news because of India's first thunderstorm research test bed, and this is going to be in Odisha. And for this facility, IMD collaborated with DRDO and with ISRO. What is IMD? It is India Meteorological Department. So this IMD is under Ministry of Earth Sciences. Present Minister is Dr. Harshvardhan. DRDO is Defense Research and Development Organization. It is under MOD, that is Ministry of Defense. And ISRO is under Department of Space. Recently, this MOES was also in news because of Digital Ocean Initiative. What is the new upper limit or upper ceiling for family pension as per the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions? So the upper limit is 1,25,000. Previously it was 4,500. So this is about the provisions for upper limit for a family pension. Now under this ministry there is a department, and it is Department of Pension and Pensioners Welfare. This is under Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. Present Minister for Ministry of Personnel is Dr. Jitendra Singh. Which union ministry announces the IIP, that is Index of Industrial Production? So this is announced by CSO, that is Central Statistical Organization, and the CSO is under MOSPI. What is MOSPI? It is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So this ministry released the Index of Industrial Production. As the name suggests, it is a data to reflect the industrial production in our country. Now, as per the recent edition, this IIP grew 1% for December 2020. So, IIP is an indicator of industrial activity in the economy. Now, in this IIP, core sectors represents about 40% of weightage of this IIP. This core sector is a very important aspect for your exam preparation. Usually, they ask direct question from it. So, what are these core sectors? Actually, these 8 industries are the core sector. These are electricity, steel, refinery products, crude oil, coal, cement, natural gas, and fertilizers. So these 8 industries are known as core sectors, and these contribute approximately 40% of our IIP. Now the base year for IIP is 2011-12. IIP is released by CSO. It is Central Statistical Organization. CSO is under MOSPI. Now there is one more term. It is CPI, that is Consumer Price Index. So please write down the difference in CPI and WPI. Yoshihiro Mori, who was in news recently, is a former Prime Minister of which country? So he is a former Prime Minister of Japan. Recently he was in news because he resigned from the post of President of Tokyo Organizing Committee for Tokyo Olympics. Please note that Tokyo is the host of 2021 Olympic Games. Tokyo is in Japan, and Yoshihiro Mori was the head of this organization committee for these games. Recently, one more former Prime Minister of Japan was in news, and he is Shinzo Abe. So why he was in news? Because recently he was given Padma Vibhushan Award by Government of India. Recently Japan was in news as it announced that it is going to join this Five Eyes Alliance. What is this Five Eyes Alliance? So it is an association of 5 countries to share the intelligence. So these 5 countries are Canada, USA, UK, Australia and New Zealand. Now Japan announced that it is going to be part of this alliance. Japan was also in news because of Malabar exercise. So 4 countries participated in Malabar exercise. These are India, USA, Australia and Japan. Please note that originally this exercise was started by India and USA. Later in 2015, Japan became the permanent partner in this exercise and therefore it became a trilateral exercise in 2015. Japan was also in news because of Quad. Quad is Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. So the same 4 countries are part of Quad, that is our country, Australia, USA and Japan. Recently, Quad was in news because the recent meeting of Quad held in Tokyo. Which country has detected huge optical flare in BL Lassate, an oldest astronomical object? So this has been detected by India, and recently DST, that is the Department of Science and Technology, reported that Indian astronomers have detected huge optical flare in BL Lassate. Now what is this BL Lassate? It is a supermassive black hole or blazar. Now recently this DST was also in news because of SERB. What is SERB? It is Science and Engineering Research Board. So recently this board was in news because it announced SERB Women Excellence Award. SERB stands for Science and Engineering Research Board and it is under DST, that is Department of Science and Technology. And DST is under Ministry of Science and Technology. Under this ministry there are 2 departments. One is DBT, that is Department of Biotechnology. Another is DST, that is Department of Science and Technology. Which country records the world's highest number of road crash deaths? So it is unfortunate that India is on top position in terms of road crash death. Recently, World Bank released a report and it is traffic crash injuries and disabilities, the burden on Indian society. Our road transport minister is Nitin Gadkari. Recently, he was in news because he launched India's first CNG tractor. So this CNG tractor has been converted from diesel. That means this was a diesel tractor which was converted into CNG. CNG stands for compressed natural gas. Now the CNG is a clean fuel and therefore it will have lower carbon emission. So this will reduce the amount of pollutants in the environment and this is more affordable than diesel. So A, it is affordable. B, it will be less polluting. Now recently 2 companies were in news because of this conversion. That means because of the conversion from diesel based tractor to CNG based tractor. Answer in comment box, what is the name of these 2 companies? Recently, Mr. Nitin Gadkari was also in news as he launched India's first multi-modal logistic park and this is in Jogighopa in Assam. On the other hand, India's largest multi-modal logistic park is going to be in Gujarat. Recently, Gujarat was in news as it renamed Dragon Fruit. So the new name of Dragon Fruit is Kamalam. As per the recent government data, what percentage of India's prison inmates are illiterate? So recently MHA, that is Ministry of Home Affairs, released a data related to India's prison inmates. And as per that, 23.37% of total inmates are illiterate. Now again, you need not to remember the exact figure, but you should have a fair idea that this is the number of people. Now recently MHA was in news because of Ayushman CAPF scheme. So it is a scheme for CAPF, that is Central Armed Police Forces. CAPF are under Ministry of Home Affairs. So for this Ayushman CAPF, Ministry of Home Affairs has collaborated with National Health Authority. National Health Authority was in news because recently Mr. Ram Sevak Sarma was appointed as the next CEO of this National Health Authority. Ayushman CAPF scheme is a scheme to provide health benefits to the members of CAPF. Recently, Ayushman Sehat was in news. It is a scheme to provide the health benefits to the residents of Jammu and Kashmir. Recently, Jammu and Kashmir was in news because of Roshni Act. Jammu and Kashmir was also in news because of its new land allotment policy. Maharaja Suhaldev was the ruler associated with which ancient Indian city? So, he was associated to Sravasti and this was in Gangetic Plains and presently it is in Uttar Pradesh. Why it was in news? Because Prime Minister laid the foundation stone of Memorial of Maharaja Suhaldev. So this is in Uttar Pradesh. To be specific, this memorial is going to be in Bahraich. Now, recently, the state of Uttar Pradesh was in news because it introduced a system of allocation of Unicodes, a 16-digit Unicode to the land holdings in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh was also in news because of 26th January Republic Day parade. And in this parade, the tableau of Uttar Pradesh won the first prize. What was the tableau? Tableau was of Ram Temple. Uttar Pradesh was also in news as it is going to be the first state to present paperless budget. Now, in this Republic Day ceremony, the tri-service contingent of Bangladesh participated. Bangladesh was in news because this year, that means in 2021, India and Bangladesh are celebrating 50 years of their diplomatic ties. Bangladesh became a separate nation as a result of 1971 Indo-Pakistan War. In which state the Chittora Lake is situated? So this lake is in state of Uttar Pradesh, and a river named Teri Nadi originates from this lake. It is also an important Hindu pilgrimage site. Why it was in news? Because recently Prime Minister inaugurated certain development works in this Chittora Lake. Now recently Uttar Pradesh was also in news because of one more lake, and it is Keetham Lake. It is also known as Sur Sarovar. So this is a bird sanctuary in Agra, and this Keetham Lake is in this Sur Sarovar bird sanctuary in Agra. Why it was in news? Because recently it became a part of Ramsar site. So Ramsar is a convention for the protection of wetlands, and Ramsar Convention was signed in 1971. Ramsar is a name of place in Iran. Since this convention was signed in 1971, this time, that means in 2021, we completed 50 years of this convention. So it is very important from exam perspective. Now every year on 2nd of February, World Wetland Day is celebrated. Why it is celebrated? For the protection of wetlands. What is the name of convention for wetland protection? It is Ramsar Convention. Now in our country, total 42 sites are specified as a part of this Ramsar Convention, and the most recent entry is of Sokar Lake, and these 42 sites are highest in South Asia. So these were the most important questions. Now we are going to cover important news events. So first is related to FASTag. FASTag is for toll payments. That means for the payments on road toll. And FASTag is based on RFID. So in examination, they may directly ask you, FASTag is based on which of the following aspects? So it is based on RFID, that is radio frequency identification. Now why FASTag was in news? Because from 15th of February, FASTag is compulsory at all toll plazas, and this was recently announced by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. So FASTag is an electronic toll collection system, and it is operated by NHAI. What is NHAI? It is National Highway Authority of India, and it is under Ministry of Road Transport. Next is Justice PV Sanjay Kumar. So Justice Kumar has been appointed as the Chief Justice of Manipur High Court. Next is 2000 metric tons of rice. So recently India provided humanitarian assistance to Syria, and as a part of this humanitarian assistance, we provided rice to Syria. Syria is a country in West Asia. Answer in comment box whether Syria shares border boundary with Turkey or not. Next is Arjun main battle tanks. So first thing first, Arjun is a type of main battle tank, and recently Prime Minister handed over these indigenously developed Arjun main battle tanks to the Indian Army. So A, these are indigenous. B, these were handed over to Indian Army. So what is the meaning of this term indigenous? That means made in India. So these are manufactured by CVRDE. What is CVRDE? It is Combat Vehicles Research and Development Establishment. So first, it is based in Chennai. Second, it is a part of DRDO. That means it is a unit of DRDO. DRDO stands for Defense Research and Development Organization. Next is Green Super Ministry. So recently Mario Draghi became the new Prime Minister of Israel. So recently Mario Draghi became the new Prime Minister of Italy, and to focus on the climate change agenda, he had set up Green Super Ministry in the government of Italy. The objective is to focus on the green energy. Next is Rashmi Sawant. So recently Rashmi Sawant from Karnataka was in news as she became the president of Oxford University Students' Union, and she is the first Indian to become the president of Student Union of Oxford University. Next is Flipkart. So recently Flipkart collaborated with Maharashtra government to promote wooden toys and local handicrafts. Next is Jyoti Malhotra. Please note that it is name of a male. So recently Mr. Jyoti Malhotra became the chief of Volvo Cars in India, and he is the first Indian to head the Volvo Cars India. Volvo is a company of Sweden. The previous head was Charles Frump. Next is Mark Listosella. So recently He has been appointed as the new CEO and MD of Tata Motors. Next is Ramanujam machine. So Ramanujam is the name of famous mathematician from India, and recently this machine was in news as it has the potential to reveal the hidden relationship between the numbers. Next is Corporate India Risk Index. So this is index released by ICICI Lombard. Next is Mandu Festival. So this festival was in news and it is celebrated in Madhya Pradesh. Next is The Terrible, Horrible, Very Bad, Good News. So this is the name of book by Meghna Pant. Next is Sagarika. So Sagarika was in news as recently it was launched. And it is India's first full-fledged international cruise terminal. And this is being set up at Cochin Port in Kerala. And last news is Starstruck, Confessions of TV Executive. So it is a book by Peter Mukherjee. So these were the most important questions and news events. Thank you, and that's all for the day.